Reason do you need to be shown? Tell me why I don't like money.
Meet Man with the Stick.
Hello to all you Doctor Who fans. I'm speaking to you from the set of The Two Doctors, and I just want to say I'm very sorry I can't be with you.
I'm going to lash you to within an inch of your life. And then I'm going to have you.
The nature of Monkey was irrepressible.
I'm going to rescue her. I'm going to save Rose Tyler from the middle of the Dalek fleet, and then I'm going to save the Earth, and then, just to finish off, I'm going to wipe every last stinking Dalek out of the sky!
But you have no weapons, no defenses, no plan!
Yeah. And doesn't that scare you to death? Rose?
Yes, Doctor?
I'm coming to get you.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. That was the Monday intro I just played. Why did I play the Monday intro? Press the wrong one. Press the wrong one, baby. These things happen, right? These things happen in the world of YouTube. Wow, how do I get this more centered? That's a bit better. Yeah. These things happen in the world of YouTube. It's all going on, baby. It's all good. Since last time we spoke, a lot has gone down. Both internally and externally, right? It's both in Doctor Who world and in reality. We step ever closer to the apocalypse. Has it happened yet? No. Give it time, baby. Give it time. And we've got some massive ups and crushing downs, at least for me, in the Doctor Who world that we're going to be talking about. Yeah, man, it's crazy in the Israel-Gaza thing. Right, my son is almost certainly literally in combat now. like I think he's actually in combat now, which is kind of wild. We'll get to that. We'll get to that soon, right? But yeah, no, it is. It's wild, man. It is wild. So I'm trying. How do I segue into this thought that I very much want to share? Like it's a little bit of a detour. You know, I like a bit of a detour, baby. You know, it's about Quentin Tarantino and Star Trek. These things I just obsess about because he said he wanted to do a Star Trek. I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Here's the thing. Quentin Tarantino, for some reason, has a rule. He wants to do 10 movies. And for some other reason, he's calling Kill Bill 2 movies, right? I don't really agree. But anyway, he's got 1 movie left, right? He's got 1 movie left. So what I would suggest, because actually he said something along these lines as well, that I wish like I had control of Star Trek, right? One of the many things I would do, I would convince Quentin, I would bring Quentin Tarantino in for a meeting and say, look, Quentin, how about this? Can I pitch you an idea, Quentin? You could do like, you know, a small season of Star Trek, right? And you can make it like, you know, Star Trek Begins. Yeah, not Star Trek Begins, the fan-made one. He probably hasn't even seen those, right? And we can have sets that really emulate the 960s. We can have like the Desilu logo, right? You can have ads in it. You know, you can have the old NBC logo. You can have it sepia. It would be great if it was made in the world that was once upon a time in Hollywood, right? So I know the idea is he wanted to do something with a piece of the action. Right, which is where they go to a world that's contaminated by gangster mythology, right? So I don't know what he would do with that, like 1970, like whatever he would do with that sounds really interesting to me. But I would suggest this because I would love to see in Quentin Tarantino's TV Star Trek, right? I imagine, you know, essentially do the JJ crew. Right, you know, and in terms of look, I would go for like, you know, Star Trek Begins or Star Trek, what is it? Star Trek Continues. That's what it was. Yeah, the Vic Montagna and all those other ones that really have the look of the original Star Trek. Right, I would have the Enterprise be a bit more photorealistic. Like, I don't know, I'd have like the walls more of a gun. Like the grey would be like a real brush grey, right? I something along those, so it would feel a little bit more real than the the original set does. That's really the only tweak I would have. I mean, I like the brightness of the costumes in like the Bryan Singer envisaged when he did. Look, anything good from Star Trek Discovery comes from Bryan Singer, and there are good bits in Star Trek Discovery, like the design of the ship, like echoing Star Trek Phase 2, that sort of thing, right? Everything shit, not from him, I would think, but Bryan Singer, not Bryan Singer, Brian Fuller. Anyway, I digress. Wouldn't it be great, I thought to myself, if you had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, playing his character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What's it called again? Frank Dalton, right? As the heavy, as the bad guy in the Star Trek. Like that Kirk has to go up against. So then I thought, it'd be really cool if you had a season, like a 6-episode season with like a linked story, which is essentially Heart of Darkness or Apocalypse Now, right? Where you have like a Starfleet captain that's gone crazy, and Kirk has to go into uncharted territory, like not Andorra. It's like some territory where literally no one's gone before, right? To take him out, essentially. Right, like this would be an awesome Star Trek in of itself, right? But like, and then you can visit strange new worlds each week in this, like, hunt into the Heart of Darkness. But of course, the General Kurtz character, the Marlon Brando, would be Leonardo DiCaprio playing Rick Dalton, playing Captain whatever in it, right? And I'd like to see if you get Brad Pitt in for an episode as well. Right now, how did I come to all this? Because as Israel is, we are it's on, baby, right? It's on. I want to add something to the Tuesday intro or the next intro too. I want to add something to the next intro. Maybe it's probably gonna be the Tuesday one though, because maybe I'll add something else into the other one. But where from Brad Pitt from Inglourious Bastards is like saying, I want my natty scalps, right? That one, and you owe me those 10 scalps. That bit, right? I think that'll go over it, and that's very like the jingoistic feeling we have right now. Because look, mate, Israel is my kid is almost certainly in active combat. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Like they get told to like he's in tanks, right? And in tank this is not privileged information, right? In tanks you have like there's 3 or 4 people in a tank, right? And you might have to stay in your tank for like a month, right? I know, like my neighbor, my friend, their kid in 2014, he was in his tank for like 3 weeks, so that might be what's going on. Right, because they got to like phone you before they give in your phone, right, and say hi, I love you, in case you never see him again, right? It's a little bit freaky, right? But we've had that conversation many times now. They keep taking the phone and give it back to him, but he's like, yeah, he didn't say anything, which meant he'd proven saying a lot. So, and now I see there's a big offensive going on with lots of tanks, right? Lots of here. Let's see some. This is all like propaganda footage, but it's my team, babe. So I hope they're doing well. Here's his first bit. Okay, that's a lot of fucking tanks. Okay, that's a lot of fucking tanks. That's a lot of tanks. Holy shit. That's like we're not pissing around. And that's just a little bit. Hey, look, this is what I think is going down. They are It's not that they're just going to annihilate Hamas, right? In Gaza. They're gonna, like, after this is over, right, in Gaza, they're gonna go after all the leaders, like in England, in Algeria, wherever the hell they are. No one's gonna be safe, right? They are gonna Munich the shit out of this. And they are. Oh, it's like, you know, you can hear them plan it. Yeah, no, we do this now. It's like, yeah, the world's calling for a ceasefire, not the world. The Jew-hating leftists are calling for a. I didn't mean to say world. I do apologize. The Jew-hating leftists are calling for a ceasefire. Fuck off. Excuse me. Don't start a war and then cry like a bitch. That's just one man's opinion, obviously. But don't start a war and cry like a bitch. God's sake, it's embarrassing. Buildings are blowing up. And, like, honestly, I'm sure there are high casualties. Couldn't trust a word coming out of Gaza. Don't trust a word any of these people say. Right, remember the hospital? I know, that was 2 weeks ago now. It's hard. Oh, it makes me crazy when you got, like, the Keir Starmer. Where did he get a backbone from? Fuck me. That's impressive. I would nearly vote for him at this point, right? I mean, just for making, for just for being ballsy enough to do this, because this is really a showdown for, like, the radical Labour and normal people, right? And the Owen Jones don't like it because Keir Starmer has realised that the radical weirdos aren't where it's at. Like, where else are Muslims going? Like, it's not like they're going to be voting for the Tories, right? It's like, where are they going? Yeah, and what we're like, what you're saying isn't unreasonable, but the fact he's, like, facing down his whole, like, a very noisy part of his party, who seems to be all made up of cunts. I think fair play to him, right? Good luck to you, mate. It's working out good for me. Anyway, this is Israel, like, getting ready. This is a lot. Again, essentially they're saying there is no other option other than success, right? We have no option. Your mum's life is on this. And that's how we all feel. Like, you know, everything is riding on this. We must destroy Hamas. Like, we have a clarity of vision and a unity that I have never seen. And we are going to destroy Hamas, right? And then, you know, I hope, you know, just like somebody mentioned this in the chat, I think, or in the comments. Just like, you know, after World War II, Germany needs to be reprogrammed via their media. We're going to have to do the same thing for Gaza. Like all we got to do is reprogram the Gazans to, you know, get their heads out their ass and say, oh, maybe we can live with these Jews. That's it. That's all we got to do. Then everybody wins, right? That's the hurdle we got to get over. If they could just say, oh, yeah, we can live with these Jews, because you can live and be happy and be rich. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, all you got to do is live with Jews. And the more you live with us, the better it is for you. Frankly, better it is for everyone. Again, I couldn't give a shit if there was a mosque across my street. Right? I mean, I could practically with a political situation, but I'm talking like on a theological ground. Like, whatever. Ahmed Yankel. I couldn't give a shit. You're both arseholes, probably. No, but that's actually the truth. You know, people are just people. Right, so I would listen. My dream would be a completely blended society, right? I mean, when I say completely blended, well, we have Muslims, we have Jews. Why not? Wouldn't that be awesome? I just think that'd be awesome. And if the Muslims were up for that, we'll have that. I mean, totally, we would have that. And the incredible thing is, though, the victims of, I mean, the initial victims of it, you know, the 1400. They were mainly leftists, right? It was awful. Man, more stuff came out. I can't believe the shit I'm hearing. Oh, like rapes and oh my god, it's unbelievable. Yeah, get these people out, out reality.
מטרתנו היא אחת, ניצחון. לא משנה כמה תהיה ארוכה הלחימה, כמה קשה, אין תוצאה אחרת מלבד ניצחון. נילחם במקצועיות ובעוצמה לאור ערכי צה"ל, עליהם חונכנו.
Yeah, that's not a small force. That's not like, that's out of line, mate. No, that's like you're gonna fucking die. You're going over in the back of a paddy wagon, mate.
בראשם הדבקות במשימה והחתירה לניצחון. אנו נילחם בסמטאות, נילחם במנהרות, נילחם היכן.
Yeah. I mean, again, look, they're not fucking around. And again, they're in active fucking combat right now. Weird. It's weird knowing your kid's in it. Fucking weird, mate. It's that's the best way I can describe it. Fucking weird. Oh, like, I wish we had robots that can do this. But man, you gotta have balls of fucking steel for this shit. Look at this shit. Could you imagine you doing this when you're 18? Fuck off. See, like, I don't know, like, the ongoing of the argument we've had is, debate, I would say, is it better to be in a tank or is it better to be an infantry? Right, I think better be in a tank because you're surrounded by a motherfucking tank, right? You got a whole tank around you. However, quite rightly, people in infantry say, yeah, but they fire more at the tanks. That is something to take into account. Man, they're really inside. There is. I'll be shitting myself. I mean, listen, on behalf of the Jewish people, obviously. And like, what makes me crazy is I'm listening to a lot of talk radio, and there's I can't stand it when they say Israel's committing war crimes. No, we're fucking not. You can't. No. That's your prejudicial legal opinion, which is wrong. We're not. What? Okay, listen. Israel is under no obligation to supply anything to Gaza, right? We're under obligation not to impede. I think, let's say, if they had their own electricity stations and we took those out in the first round, that may, I don't even know the Geneva Convention, but if there's a breach of Geneva Convention, that seems like that should be it. When you effectively, that would seem like collective punishment. However, not providing free fucking gas that you can use to blow us up and feed air into your tunnels. I mean, that's the thing, man. Going in those tunnels is going to be that's crazy. Like, there's got to be some kind of plan they have for that. Right? You got to have some kind of defensive, plan rather than just wander down a cocksucking motherfucking tunnel. Springtime for him. Hey, can I interest you in some Israel books? I mean, no. Right. It's I cannot see me wanting to do that. In fact, the closest I can see actually wanting to see that even on film would be a Jerry Anderson version, that. Oh god! But they must have some kind of plan. That's it. The thing. They must have if I'm coming up with plans, in my bathroom, they must have some kind of plan. That's just what I'm thinking, right? That is exactly what I'm thinking. What's it just about pull up? All right, well, wrong thing. Hang on. Video. Let's see what else we've got. Oh yeah, so it's aid is getting into Gaza, but they say, firstly, I hate to be like this, but don't fucking start a war and then cry like a bitch when you're at war. Fuck's sake, have some respect, you cunt. What the hell? Some self-fucking respect. It's crying like a fucking pussies. For fuck's sake. I don't want to get hurt, but don't stop and fight. What the hell? It's only much bigger than you. And I say start a fight, repeatedly rape his wife. I mean, I don't know. They baked a baby to death. To tell you, I'm like, okay. And that story actually gets worse. I mean, it's beyond belief, right? It's beyond belief. Ellen, what was that? Ellen, tell me again. Oh, I thought I just got a thing. I got in trouble. No, I didn't. Thank God. So yeah, we're destroying ISIS, right? And I hope we root out that cancer from reality, right? Anyway, so we are sending aid into Gaza. There was 400 trucks went in today, which is, I think, 400 too many. But again, I'm a bit of a cunt. But anyway. Although my son, right, my older son, he's like so honorable. He'd be like, no, we must give humanitarian aid. Oh, really? I mean, he's the one who actually, is the officer. He's the one who actually has access to real, genuine power of life and death, and he's much better at it than me. Anyway, there was 400 trucks going in. Could have been a lot more. And I can't believe I'm playing CNN to prove my point. I mean, really? Really?
Field the 1,200 trucks, Hamas would only let in 400 trucks because it wanted to keep the population hungry, it wanted to keep the population angry, and keep the population dependent on Hamas. We knew that even though we were inspecting the trucks on our side, we knew that much of the material that Hamas uses, even the guns, the jeeps, where all these motorcycles come from, they come through in tiny microscopic parts, smuggled in cement, smuggled in flour, smuggled in condensed.
Bloody hell, that's a lot. I guess so. I mean, like, Anderson Cooper, you're looking so serious, baby. Listen, Anderson Cooper won me over when he started crying on air. I'm like, okay, mate, fine. Bygones be bygones. I'll forget about the Trump shit. Okay, how about that? See, that's how fucking easy it is to win me over, right? Weirdly enough, though, so we had like Cunt Patrol who were ripping down the posters of the kidnapped motherfucking babies. And they're like, they're like, no, why are we doing it? So now we stepped it up, right? We stepped it up. It's actually the police doing that, right? It's like, really, you want to tell me that it can't? It's something fine.
That's all. Why is the police taking this down? Excuse me.
You know why? Because you're saying, excuse me, and there's 200,000 other people going, blah! Right? That's why. That's exactly why. Plus, I think cards are cunt. I mean, you can't. Listen, if you're playing a game of strategy and you have a Sadiq Khan is a cunt card, you can't underestimate how much you could use that card. Like what the fuck? How? How is this reality? That now the police are doing it. All right. So, I have to say, we live in strange times, right? Like, okay. So what's the name? But there's like a fault line in reality. You have, was it Suella Braverman, whatever her name is, saying, we got to re-examine extremism. And then we have liberal whining fucking cunts. Oh, I mean, that really could be what this person actually called. Liberal whining cunts.
Legal areas that we are talking about.
I mean, my God. Really, if I hadn't heard her make a sound out of mouth, I would know this is a liberal whining cunt. Akiko Hart, interim director of Liberty. Well, what happened to the last one? Was he caught with his fingers up in Charles' ass, was he? And the answer is probably yes. Actually, I mean, like, yeah, that wasn't that arse. Much of it. It's only an inch. I have no idea. I have no idea if the previous director at Liberty wasn't in any way interviewed by police by fingering a child's ass. I have no idea. Okay, I want to be clear. I don't know what his name is, and I don't know how much he would charge for such an action. Anyway,
at the moment are areas which require the utmost care and the utmost sensitivity.
So when you had a mob of 10,000 people screaming, "Kill the fucking Jews," was that sensitive? You little cunt. Right? Was that? Oh no, because they're only fucking Jews.
And I don't think that is quite what we're seeing at the moment in terms of the response from senior politicians and the Home Secretary.
I mean, what we're literally saying, maybe we shouldn't have a chance to kill the Jews. I mean, what the fuck? I want to say kill the Jews. It was more of like jihad to all the Jews. Violently now. Whatever. It wasn't like there was a subtle subtext. There was, I will bring a jihad to the Jews, which actually means I will inspect myself to make myself a better person. It didn't mean that. Right? Were you being sensitive then? Oh, Akiko, whatever. I like, fuck me. You sound like a James Bond villain's assassin's girlfriend. What's a fucking name? Okay. Don't look like one. Don't worry. We'll come back to it. I won't say the name again. Akiko what? Akiko Hart. It is. Doesn't that sound like a James Bond villain's assassin girlfriend? Akiko. Eliminate him. That would so happen. That's how she became interim director. Bond, I want to warn you, Akiko Hart has been employed by Blofeld. Akiko Hart, known for biting the heads off live sheep. The same. Yes, Mr. Bond. Oh, ties the victims to the chairs and balls them to death with rants about fucking equality. Oh, Kiko. I'm Kiko Hart. Hey, my group is called the Unfuckable. You know the Unfuckable? Yes, we do. We look up to Greta. Really? Yes. One day we dream of being as unfuckable as Greta. Well, good for you, darling. Good for you. Okay, sorry. Akiko Hardy, you were speaking. Oh, God, this face that launched 1,000 ships.
Politicians and the Home Secretary. So, for example, the Home Secretary talking today about, the pro-Palestine marches as hate marches was
just because they
inflammatory.
Said jihad and kill the fucking Jews? That was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I forgot. You're Akiko Hart. Akiko Hart, who was known for not having a heart. Down, 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 down. Here comes Akiko.
And dangerous rhetoric, and actually.
But so again, jihad, that's not dangerous. No. Fuck me, no. Oh, that's just playing around. That's just being a little funny boy.
A real failure of leadership in many ways at a time when what is needed is
it's just saying whatever the Hamas wants you to say. What's needed is to suck our liberal dicks and do what us liberals want you to do. Thank you, Keir Starmer, for showing up at Kiko fucking Hart. Oh, this probably doesn't do good for Keir Starmer. for my flaccid endorsement.
Thought and care and scrutiny.
Yeah, and again, saying maybe we shouldn't let these fucked up, crazed Hamas fans rampage through the fucking streets. Maybe the Jews may be a bit iffy about that. I know. God, these people are just stupid.
I stand up and support the Palestinian. I am against violence of any form. The retaliation is beyond insane.
What would you do?
I want to think, why? And he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Terribly sorry. Oh, that was a nightmare. Man, I tell you, the internal Voyager I just went on was not like the external one. Let me tell you, not like the external. In my getting the router working, oh no, I went back. There you go. Still not sure. All right, let's see what happens. No, now it's saying looking a bit better. Anyway, in my head, I was like, Han Solo navigating through the asteroid field. You never tell me the answers. I, daringly reroute things. In reality, I was going. So two things were different. Anyway, where were we at? I was at, I believe, a video clip called Idiot Liberal. Oh, yeah. So, they don't even know.
I stand up and support the Palestinian. I am against violence of any form. The retaliation is beyond insane.
What would you do if...
Oh, if that's the case, why don't they just say I surrender? I'm throwing this out there. Why don't you just give back the hostages and say sorry? Start with that. I mean, yeah, I don't know what would be then, because we'll probably still kill you. But I don't know. There will be some debate internally. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I will give back all the hostages. Yeah, start with that. Say, I surrender.
You or Israel?
Well, okay. You
like, should they take out Hamas?
Maybe. I don't know.
Are you mother?
Yes, I have a daughter.
You have a
daughter and 5 grandchildren.
Okay. So if they had 2 of your grandchildren and 1 of your daughters, what would you want them to do?
I would do everything possibly to have them back. Yeah.
You mean like maybe just destroy them completely?
Cry to death, I can't sleep. That's the worst pain.
I mean, like, you know what? It's every moral person gets this, and it's really this is a moral barometer like you've never seen before. 2 soldiers killed. Do I know them? As fierce battles rage on in Gaza. Oh, yeah. Should we look at the news together? We'll look at the news. Hang on. 1 second. I just got to do that. Doink. Because I don't know anything. Because I mean, I get. I mean, do I get word on the ground? Not really. Yeah. So what's this? Do I know any of these people? See, that's the thing, right? Lipschitz 20, Modena, Starstone, Royal Wolf. Like, Royal Wolf looks kind of familiar, I have to tell you. Ramat Gan, right? Gavati. Inwardly, 1 second. The Gavati reconnaissance unit and were killed fighting in Gaza. I'm sorry, but then they won't be the last. They won't be the last. Well, I hope for every one of ours they take, we take a 50. I mean, I do, right? I do, man. That's heavy. Egyptian stations tanks near Rafah border. Well, nothing can go wrong with that. The IDF says it hit anti-tank missile cell in Lebanon. Well, yeah, less I know about that, the better, frankly. That's what I can say. Fine. 1 second. It's but I have to tell you. Firstly, Lawrence Fox went to clean up from one of the insane rallies. Hate rallies. This is his experience.
You can't leave him up there. We're going to have to call the fire brigade. You can't leave him up there. You're breaking the law leaving him up there. He's not breaking the law being up there. Hey!
I'll vote for him for anything right now.
Get your shit off my statues.
Well done! Well done, you absolute legend.
Get your shit off my statues. I can't disagree. I mean, like, again, no bloody respect, right? No bloody respect. However, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the good point is this. We were at the brink of civil war here in Israel, and now we're unified in a way that, nobody would have thought this would be possible, right? So here, I want to show you something. So yesterday we had the fantastic news that the IDF managed to rescue one of the hostages, a young girl. She was military, right? So the whole country, myself included, reacted this way. So I'm going to show you something that will be. I'll try and break this down to you, show you why this is a big deal. Sector Israelis, right? No keeper, not religious, obviously. Okay. Super religious Israelis. Look at that. I would never believe that. They were at each other's throats like a month ago, right? Like they were at each other's throats. Like if you're in this army uniform, you couldn't walk down like ultra orthodox places, right? Right now. Look, I'm religious. These are super Jewy Jews. Take a Rabbi. I will point out the super Jewy Jew to you. They're normally dancing in circles. Yeah, that's how you can find them. I'm not bigging it up. It was a national celebration. It was incredible, and like that, we're all standing shoulder to shoulder. I'm amazed, right? I am genuinely. Right, I got to use YouTube to get the first few chats because I got cut off. Here, I'll pull up some mic handy. And oh boy, we have a lot of Doctor Who news to get to, right? Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm looking at the thumbnail. Look, I'm a vain person. That's just who I am, mate. But look, this is so good. I'll come back. This is so good. I'm sorry. Doctor, are you still staring at my tits? You're saying it like it's a bad thing. Maybe now the lost story of Perry and the Time Road of Love can finally be told. Oh, please tell it, Perry. I would really love to be told that in like some kind of graphical representation. I would really like that. TARDIS tells New Era Mills Autumn classic Doctor Who does it. Anti-Semitism in the UK now by the police. And the top 10 spookiest horror Doctor Who. Yes, we will do the top 10. We will review them. And plus, we got a ton of news. There we go. Finally, we get started the chat. There we have. Lonnie is there. Doing Lonnie. I heard that IDF knocked over Hamas naval base. Yeah, look, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. The threat of religion and religion war has been averted. Yeah, well, you just saw that. Only started there. Thank you for joining us. The Solar Engine is here. Darren M is here. Yes, it was me who made YouTube slow on Sunday. I'll do it again, Icky. Don't mind. I knew you had no morals, right? I knew you had no morals, but I didn't think you'll stoop that far, right? I did not think you will stoop that far. Where are we up to? Jonathan Cox is here. Evening, how are you doing? So thank you for joining us. Wait, is it possible that the words Star Trek Discovery and Good were in the same sentence? But yes. There were good bits about again. The design of the ship taken from Star Trek Phase 2, very cool. You could tell everything that was Bryan Singer, that and Brian Fuller, because it was good. And I don't know what his plan was. I would love to know what his original plan was. I bet it was good, right? I bet it was good. Someone said, saw Five Nights at Freddy's movie. To be perfectly honest, it wasn't really that scary beyond a couple of jump scares. I'm not really into it at all. Mama said, "Give me your family and my prayers. Please do that." Thank you for creating up for aggressively heterosexual males. Well, you gotta be, baby. You gotta be. Otherwise they take the piss, baby. That does indeed happen. Fine. Thomas Preston is here. That's a full division of tanks. Yes, it is. The problem with Munich is that it can lead to Lillehammer. Don't know what that is, but I guess we'll take that out too. Honestly, from what we're hearing, Lebanon's shitting itself, right? They really are. The Arab countries are worried that this is the apocalypse war, the end of days. This is it, right? Might be right. Sword Rangers is here. Imagine W2 happened and this day and age. Well, we don't have to. We could just look out your window, right? Paul Tozen's there. Doing Paul Tozen. Did I say hello to you? I don't know. To be fair, a generation of young British men did similar during the retreat from the Empire. Some are not too far away from where you live. Respect to them all. Oh, who are we talking about? I know. Well, listen, the British and the Arabs did get on awfully well, mainly because they slept with each other. From what I understand. Which, amazes me because we got so many very flamboyant gays here in Israel. I'm surprised we don't put it about a bit more. Right? But I don't know. Maybe we were too open about it. Peter, they go back to the UN for royally fucking up again. Well, really, the UN and Disney, are they interchangeable? Yes. They are pretty much. South Park has to do an episode talking about the UN. Man, South Park destroyed Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, my God. Look. They can say they're saying both sides of the argument by saying how they were harassed and it was one causing the other, which actually is an interesting idea, right? If you haven't seen South Park, it's essentially Kathleen Kennedy. Cartman is scared that he's going to be replaced by a black female version, right? Because everybody's being replaced, and he gets sucked into a multiverse where he gets sent to where him and a black female version of him get into exchange, right? Exchange. So, but basically, it's all Cartman talking about how Kathleen Kennedy put a chick in it, make her a lesbian, and make sure it's lame, right? And they destroy, and how everything at Disney is failing, and it's all Kathleen Kennedy's fault, right? And then they said, but the online trolls, they're the ones who made her double and triple down. So it's an interesting argument. But man, do they skewer her. Oh, gloriously. Fine. Oh, man, it's late. It's 53 minutes in. It's that Star Trek story I told at the beginning. That will do it. Fine. Where are we up to? Mark Milford is here. Mark Milford, thank you for joining us. Sadako 24 is here. Hang on a second, 24. Love a bit of Dalek Empire as a thumbnail, right? Carl's been independent for 2 decades. Why don't they have any infrastructure they own? Because they use everything they have to kill Jews, baby. This really is it. Literally, they use everything to kill Jews. That's why they're like, you go to a crack house, and you go, what? Why don't you have anything? Because we're on crack. Yeah, they don't realize, why is everything so shitty here in Gaza? Because we want to kill Jews. And we just want to kill Jews. Yeah, no. No crack or killing Jews. It's bad for you, baby. It's bad for you. I'm no clear what the poster vandals are even thinking. Even if they want, no, they just want to be on the moral high ground. That's all it is. Is their behavior supposed to win over to their cause? They don't give a shit. They just want to, because they hate truth. They want to tear it down. Oh, that's how you can tell you're an anti-Semite. You can't stand kidnap Jewish children. I can't feel bad for Jews. I mean, that's how you can tell you're an. How do you know you're anti-Semite? You're tearing down one of those posters. Oh, that's kind of how that works. The only reason the sub story has been leaked from Gaza is so they're Sunni Muslims, because Qatari propaganda wing is on their side. Yeah, I hear it. But yeah, man, it's the end of days, baby. It's the end of days. If there's not any backbone left, they'll nail Sadiq Khan as a terrorist collaborator. They do. I mean, like, man, they got so much. Okay, you know what Sadiq was his name was? Is it Rishi Sunak? Yeah. If he actually wanted to win the election, come down hard against ULEZ and gender theory and race theory. Come down hard against it and win back 80% of the people, because they're all fucking sick of it. Come down hard against funding the BBC to lecture you. Right? What should the BBC be? The BBC should be a YouTube-like social media channel where you have a fair open source algorithm, and you can see, and who's ever more popular is more popular and gets allocated more resources. So people can start to do their own little shows, right? And then if it gets good, if it gets an audience, gets funded, right? And then it's an egalitarian television entertainment for the people, by the people. And it wouldn't be like just run from London, right? With like, your Hooray Henrys or morons. They started with the Jews and moved on to disabled, and then they'll I'll be in line to be thrown in the building. I mean, okay. Yeah, look, they're not nice people to anyone, right? I think we can say that. They're not nice people. Froze, okay, how long was that out for? 4 minutes. Titanfall is tonight. Oh, Titanfall is going to be good. It's got what's his name? Stephen Noonan live. Stephen Noonan is fucking awesome. Okay, I liked him as the first Doctor. Listening to him on Dan's channel, his depth of knowledge and deep understanding of Doctor Who is and any era. But he's done a bunch of stories now. Is fantastic. I mean, it's just fantastic. So that's going to be something to listen to, right? 10 minutes. Anyway. Tzvi Lebetkin. Basically, they incorrectly identified an innocent waiter in Norway as when the music player killed him, then got caught. Well, what can you do? Look, mate, it doesn't happen. Don't. I imagine there's more collateral damage than that, right? I imagine there's much more collateral damage than that, and that's just what's going to happen. No, UN isn't paying the bill. It's all coming from Israel. We're funding them. We're literally funding the terrorists if we give them gas. That is cray, baby. That is cray. Fine. Let us get to the news, right? Let's get it. Firstly, Disney. Oh, Disney. Disney Plus. Not doing so. I am freaking amazed at Disney, right? It's so BBC, what do they have in Doctor Who launching tomorrow, right? Launching tomorrow is let me think. All of modern Doctor Who, 2005 to 2022, all of classic Doctor Who, right? Sarah Jane Adventures is there already. They got a new 6-part series, which we're about to talk about, right? And then we got a bunch of other stuff coming. Plus, you got the specials, right? You know what you got on Disney Plus? None of that, just the specials. It's unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. Now, I understand there's outstanding contracts, right, with BritBox and with HBO Max. They should have insisted on buying out those contracts, right? They should have insisted on buying out those contracts to launch this. The way iPlayer is doing it is the right way, right? That is the only right way. That so that you get people interested in Doctor Who. They want to go and see what else is Doctor Who. And so they're breaking into seemingly 3 treasure troves, right? You're going to have classic be 63. I guess it's going to be to 96. I guess. I mean, great if they could get the BBV stuff as well, like the Autumn trilogy, right? And what else do they do? I like the Autumn trilogy, by the way. Downtime, right? Shakedown and Downtime. Shakedown with new special effects. You know, they should get all that 90s shit in, right? What else? There was Downtime, Shakedown. Trilogy. That wasn't that good. The Cyberon, which I never saw, and then there was also the Zygon one, which was kind of porny, from what I understand. But anyway, so the seemingly 2023 Doctor Who, David Tennant Doctor Who, David Tennant 2, 14th Doctor Who is in its own bubble, right? So I think just in the same way that 2005 Doctor Who didn't deny 89 to 63 to 89, right? Same thing here. That it's not going to deny it, like 2023 Honest Story isn't going to deny it, but it's in its own. It's a soft reboot in it, essentially, because Jodie killed it so much that they really she really killed it. I guess they're going to go with making a picture smaller, right? So that's the first thing. So again, and then one of the things not going to be on Disney Plus for again unfathomable reason, it's so dumb, is this thing, Doctor Who Tales, TARDIS Tales. Now I don't really know what this is. So let's read an article about it. I mean, like, it seems like a recreation of a bunch of Doctor Who sets. Like throw together. Like that's totally the ceiling from what's it called again? The Hartnell era. Here we go. Don't share screen. Mark the Vicar is here. How you doing, Mark the Vicar? Don't share screen. There we go. Kazam. Right, so new Doctor Who series will explore classic era stories. So I don't really understand it. This is in continuity, right? Canon, right? And you've got the Doctors and companions visibly older. There's 6 episodes. I think they're 90 minutes long each. And they, I think they are anyway. It's all dropping tomorrow, right? On iPlayer. Not on Disney Plus. Fuck you, Mickey. Fuck you. Well, you couldn't get this? There's, I mean, like, they needed to jump into this franchise with 2 feet hard. You blew up Star Wars with your Kathleen Kennedy shit, and you blew up, what's the name? Marvel with your diversity shit, right? This was your chance. This was your chance to not fuck it up. And you fucked it up going in. Couldn't even get this. So, yeah, to me, it looks like there are maybe echoes of whoever of the different people that they're meeting in the TARDIS storage room. And again, there's all different bits of the TARDIS there. New Doctor Who spin-off series, and it looks a bit CBBC. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. Tales of TARDIS will reunite classic Doctors and companions to revisit adventures from the show's original run. Okay. Fine. New Doctor Who spin-off series, TARDIS Tales, has been revealed. As previous Doctors, Doctor and companion actors reprise their roles to reflect on key stories from the show's classic era. So I don't know if they're doing a bunch of stories or one story per show, right? The classic era ran from the show's debut in November 63 with An Unearthly Child and came to a close in 89 with the storyline Survival. Again, badly named, but I guess well named. The classic era saw that okay, it's got a classic era. Ahead of the upcoming 6th anniversary, a new series of specials will debut reflecting and celebrating on on pivotal stories from the show history. So is it one story each? And we're going to look at these pictures in more detail. Hello, Perry. In more detail, right? So that's a bit of Matt Smith's TARDIS there. That speaker looks like it's from the Peter Cushing's movies. I can't remember that. Like you got Dodie's TARDIS wall. That bit of Mr. Smith. That's definitely the Jodie console room in small there. Right, this must be the where the TARDIS like stores all its potential things, and these are echoes of all the people they've travelled with them, right? Or maybe they're like personality ghosts they can use for the interface. I mean, like I am looking forward to this. I mean, like it's great to see Jamie and Zoe again, right? And it's nice seeing Tegan and Fear Doctor as well. But I just finished watching Enlightenment. That is a perfect story. It's wow. I can't wait to review it. It is a really perfect story. As revealed on the official Doctor Who website, Tales of the TARDIS will see former companions and Doctors come together to reflect on their past adventures in 6 episodes composed of archive footage and newly filmed scenes. So it sounds like it's many things, right? They could be covering many stories. Current returning cast members are Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Vess McCoy, Maureen O'Brien, very much back embracing Vicky again. I mean, who else is alive? Karen Fawcett alive, Maureen O'Brien's alive, Peter Purvis is alive. Oh, also, what's his name's alive? William Russell. Like, basically, everybody, all the companions from the Hartnell era, basically none of the companions from the Tom Baker era. Liz Sladen dead. Louis Jameson alive, but Romana 1 dead. Yeah, there's a lot of death going around. Anyway, Peter Purvis, Fraser Hines, Wendy Padry, Katie Manning, Janet Fielding, Nicola Bryan. So very well. David Anthony will also reprise his role spin-off character Clyde Langer. That's kind of a nice person to put together with what's the name with Joe Jones. Yeah, sorry, Katie Manning. The Tales of the TARDIS is a perfect introduction to classic Doctor Who. Yes, if only they had perfect classic Doctor Who to hand on Disney Plus. Oh, sorry, they don't have this either. With over 597 individual surviving episodes from Doctor Who's classic era, it can be daunting for new viewers to experience the classic era of the show and visit stories and try to continue to lay the groundwork for the series' new episodes. As such, Tales of the TARDIS is a perfect opportunity to give a taste of the era by selecting a handful of stories from each classic Doctor run. Yeah, I agree with you. Furthermore, the series' omnibus-inspired format could prove more accessible to the modern audience unused to the multi-part serialized format throughout the classic years. So again, one understanding I'm getting is like each episode is one story, right? The Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant one, they're only going to be talking about Vengeance on Varos, which interesting. I mean, like God, you'll need to put new effects on it. You really would need the new effects on Vengeance on Varos. And look, that's why I'm very intrigued to see what we're going to get, right? I really am. I'm very intrigued with this. Lauren says, what is Shakedown? Shakedown is a fan-made Doctor Who from like 90. I guess it's 1990, maybe 91. There's a 60-minute Sontaran thing with Carol Ann Ford, Sophie Aldred, Brian Croucher, and it's a story of the Ruton who is hiding on a sailing on a space sailing yacht, right? And they're boarded by the Sontarans looking for the Ruton, essentially. Best Sontaran design I've ever seen. So there you go. Fine. So yeah, no, I agree. The first one, the story is only about fine news serial run. For those familiar with the classic Doctor Who, the newly filmed scenes featured in terms of are sure to be more than enough to bring all viewers in. Yeah, certainly. Much like the collection home releases, short film trailers, and the Power of the Doctor's Ace and Tegan reunion with their respective Doctors, these new scenes can offer a chance to revisit older characters and address the threads that weren't properly tied up. I'm really excited. Yeah, look, it's all written by Rusty. It's written by Pete Matigue and Rusty Davis, I think. Well, surprised the Clyde Langer can offer a glimpse of the wider universe outside the Doctor Who adventures in the TARDIS. For those unfamiliar with it, I mean, yeah, again, I'm not entirely clear what this is. Right? Does it have the link for the episodes? You know, let me think. You look at the BBC website about this. But again, not on Disney Plus. I mean, Jesus. Disney Plus, it always finds a new way to kick you in the balls. This is so like I was going to say this is so like it's like Disney Plus. Yeah, no, it really is. Fine. So does it say who's writing this? I do love these pictures though. I mean, like again, I'm pulled in two ways. As she cried. You know what? Oh no, there is more details on this page. We'll look over. We'll look at it over here. It's better. It's better that we try and work through this as a gestalt entity rather than a meager individual mind. So to that end, I have somebody who could gestalt with us, right? Could gestalt with. I know what you're thinking. But the carpet got very sticky. Yeah, it might. All you got to do is gird yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Gird yourself. Hold yourself together because, I know we're excited. I am too. It's not every day that you get royalty coming to your YouTube channel, even if it's only local royalty. It is, of course, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. What are you? Your hair was fresh from the shower. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. You look pretty sprightly, ready to go.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. Yeah, hello, mate. How are you?
I'm awfully good. Fan Debbie Double Dozy.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm a little bit. I know that lots of stuff's been happening in Doctor Who. Lots of stuff's been happening all over the world too.
That's very true. That was basically my introduction today. We were just talking about this. The Tales of the TARDIS. Actually, the thing that's made me absolutely crazy is how much Disney Plus is not worth is not worth shit. Oh my god! So you know what you're getting on iPlayer, right? Yeah. Which for me, this might be worth buying a TV license, right? It's so good what you're getting on iPlayer.
The thought had crossed my mind. Yeah, I'm giving things a careful think through.
I mean, what is it? How much is it a year TV license?
Well, it's near enough £15 a month, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean.
But the problem is there is literally F4 on the BBC anymore that I don't find either boring, dull as dishwater, or grossly offensive.
Right, no, I do understand.
So really, I'm weighing it up.
$4.99 just for the Doctor Who content. That's be a no-brainer.
No-brainer, yeah, absolutely. I'd always support the Doctor Who brand within reason. I mean,
although it's very good. So the package you get is basically all of and I got all of this anyway at my fingertips. All of Doctor Who, like all of classic, all of modern, and it looks like they're breaking into 3 brands because they're calling the 2005 to 2022 its own bubble now, right, on iPlayer. So it looks like it's a soft reboot. It always did look like it's a soft reboot.
I've been saying this for a year and a half. It's classic Who, it's new Who, and this is all new Doctor Who coming up. It will be it's a second restart.
Yeah, exactly, because they needed to, right? They needed to. It was destroyed, right? That's why
it's convenient for guys like us because we can cauterize all the dross that came between 2018 and 2022, and just we can brush that off.
And I think there's going to be some kind of in-universe way of making that feasible in headcanon, right? So, but the point is this: so you got all of that, you got all of Sarah Jane adventures. You got the Doctor Who documentary. You got the other Doctor Who documentary that was just announced, right? And now you got this 6-part series. How long are the episodes? An hour and a half? I don't know.
All we've got so far is something they've said feature length. So I think that could be dependent on the story that they're framing with this.
Okay, so here's a question: is this a retrospective of, say, the Sylvester McCoy era, or is this them going over one story in the Sylvester McCoy era?
We don't know yet, do we? I suppose we won't know until I suppose I don't know if they're all dropping on Thursday. Yeah, or is it tomorrow?
No, tomorrow, November 1st. So and look, okay. It does look a little bit cheap, a bit Sarah Jane Adventures to me, a bit CBBC, but it's still gorgeous, right? And so from what I can tell, there's recreations of lots of bits of TARDISes. And you can have fun, recognize where everything's from, right? You like the bit over there, that's the Hartnell's ceiling. You know, I don't recognize anything else.
The expression that I would use, and I know it gets bandied around a lot, but I'm going to use it anyway, is cheap and cheerful. This is
fine. Exactly. Like this girding, that's clearly the Paul McGann TARDIS. So there's like in miniature bits of all these different TARDISes, and like a bit of Jodie in the background there.
Apart from that, it looks pretty good.
Cool. Right. I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's like when you take a Jodie out, it's not that bad. Little Jodie console at the bottom. Yeah. So there's is that Mr. Smith or is that the Matt Smith's console? I think it's Matt Smith's first console.
Yeah, looks like it to me.
Right. So so this is also exciting. Stephen and Vicky. Vicky is like really was it Maureen Bryant? She is back to being Vicky whenever she can now. Like she had no interest until the 50th. Now you can't get her to shut up.
It's funny how things change, isn't it? And it's taken her a long time to get there, but I'm happy that she's arrived at a place where she accepts her role in Doctor Who and seems to relish it. And obviously, they pay her a few quid, I would imagine, which helps. I would say. But
yeah, listen, I mean, they're all. I mean, for some reason, I'm always happiest about Fraser Hines getting paid. I don't know why, right? But I was like, good on you, Fraser. Hey. Have you got the Evil of the Daleks book you wrote?
It's on the way. It's in the post.
It's really good. I got the book on tape, right? And I am. I just finished the first episode, essentially. It's fantastic.
Does Fraser read it himself?
Yeah, but it's like it's a full like soundscape production.
Okay.
He's good at doing all the voices, you know. So and it's all told from Jamie's point of view, which is interesting. So which is because it's a very Jamie centric story. You know, like 3 episodes.
An excellent idea.
Yeah, it's really a good idea. So it's I'm really enjoying it. There's so much heart in it. And Nick Briggs does the Dalek voices. He just showed up.
I've got the original paperback of The Evil of the Daleks that John Peel wrote in the early 90s, and I felt that and I know that John Peel's considered to be a great writer, and he seems like a lovely fella, all that kind of thing, but I think those were overwritten, those books. That and The Power of the Daleks book were both too dense.
It was the 90s, right? Everything was overwritten in the 90s. You know, you had to like...
yeah, good point.
But it was. It's like, you go back and read those new adventures, they're all overwritten. Right, they are all overwritten. You get a misty, you get a little teary-eyed thinking of a sparse Terrence Dicks, right? She cried.
So how are you feeling about the Doctor Who franchise today, then, mate? We're on the threshold of the anniversary month.
I'm more pissed off that I'm having to go like. I mean, I got a VPN so I can get iPlayer, But I'm more pissed off that I just got to pirate all this stuff, and I'm going to, because there's no legal way of getting it, and that it's not all on Disney Plus. It's making me crazy. It's like all Disney Plus are showing the specials.
I've been warning people about this for a year. I don't want to say I told you so, but
you were right. I remember you telling me that. But yeah, you're right. It's shocking how stupid they are. Right, they fucked up Star Wars to the point they destroyed the hotel. Right, they fucked up Marvel. Nobody wants to see any Marvel thing they do, and they think of rebranding that Star Wars hotel as Marvel. Really, nobody gives a shit about Marvel anymore. You dumb fucks. Really. So, like, this is a chance for them to do a makeover. They could have had the whole catalog ready to go, right? So people could be that real content that people could dive into and use your service for, right? Actually earn your fucking worth, right? No.
See, the reason why this has happened with this is an anomaly with the BBC, the creation of this hub within the app, an anomaly brought into being by the fact that Russell T Davies, and I know there are plenty of people out there who don't like him as a person, don't like his politics and all the rest of it, and I understand that. I feel largely the same way myself. There's the disclaimer. The problem is that Russell T Davies is a visionary and he can make things happen. He's made this happen. One guy, admittedly with people, trusted people at his side, people like Scott Hancock and Julie Gardner, pushing the right buttons and talking to the right people. But that team of people, they have the ears of those who they basically know if they don't entrust Doctor Who to them, then this brand, they can kiss it goodbye. They lost it 2 years ago. Yeah. Doctor Who, I cannot emphasize this enough. Doctor Who was cancelled 2 years ago, thanks to Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker on their heads directly. They know, and the BBC didn't do that lightly, everybody. They did that because they had to.
Quickly, okay, I have to tell you, the weird thing is this. I'll let you get going in a second. I watched a clip on YouTube of Time. She's in season 2 of Time, right? And I thought, she'll be okay in that. I don't know why character's a moron in that as well. I watched a 3-minute clip and I didn't like a character and I was not interested in watching this show whatsoever. She made another show suck. Anyway, sorry, you're saying, carry on.
Well, but the crux of the matter, is that unless they entrust this franchise to people who've got vision for it, some direction, then they knew it was lost as an entire revenue stream. And the only thing the BBC has, it looks like they've lost Top Gear now. It's still being made all over the world, but it's not being made in Britain. Strictly still seems in relatively good health, but that pretty much leaves just Doctor Who. They've got no comedy, no ongoing drama that certainly I'm aware of, and their flagship soap opera is little more than a joke now.
Yeah,
they've only got Doctor Who.
What's name is still does well. Line of Duty.
Line of Duty does well, but again, they don't make that. I think that's made by not Fremantle. It's made by an independent. Right. Time, I think that's also made by. Time. I saw season 1 of that, which I assumed was going to be a standalone thing, and I thought it was breathtaking. It was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
It is. It's a different writer on the season 2. It's like
I noticed. Jimmy McGovern is still involved, isn't he? But he's sort of co-writing. He's kind of bringing through another writer. And as soon as I saw that he was kind of taking a backward step, I thought, well, this seems to me like an exercise in diversity, in taking a brand that had been a success 3 years ago and a writer who people really, really respect, and giving him an apprentice and finding a way of retooling something which had a credibility before and made a great impact and was award-winning, and repurposing that to fit the ideology and the long-term diversity and inclusion.
Look, the problem is, I watched the first one because of Stephen Graham and Sean Bean, right? That's what brought me in. Jodie Whittaker, Bella, what's the name from
Bella Ramsey?
Oh gosh, she gets on my nose like something awful.
I hate some mediocre talents.
Yes. Yeah.
Compared to Sean Bean, that first series was riveting. It's probably the best thing I've seen on TV in the last 5 years, anywhere in the world. And it was even better than Russell T Davies' It's a Sin. It deservedly. People went ape shit about that because Time won all the awards and they wanted it to. But Time was a far better show, and I like Russell T Davies writing.
Yeah, I loved It's a Sin too, but like it was mature.
It was literate. It was affecting. It was emotional. It was visceral. It was real drama, and to do a second season like this, and I've seen, like I keep saying, I've seen Jodie be good in other things before Doctor Who, but I think Doctor Who will act as a tipping point for her career. And now the BBC are obviously, you see, I didn't think she'd ever lead another show again, and it looks like Time's an ensemble show, season 2. I didn't think she'd lead another show again, and yet here she is on Time. But I think that for the BBC, retrieving Jodie Whittaker's career from the dumpster will reflect better on them in the long run if they do that.
Yeah,
and so they're giving her every opportunity that they can to have a further success and to escape the shadow of Doctor Who, which by all accounts, I can't say how I've heard this, but apparently Jodie Whittaker, by the time that Doctor Who ended, she was very disillusioned with it, and not on the best of terms with even Chris Chibnall. So
I've heard that as well. That they are that she basically hates him now. Yeah. Although I have to say, which career ended quicker, Jodie Whittaker destroying Doctor Who or Phoebe Waller-Bridge destroying Indiana Jones?
I think I agree with you. I think that Phoebe is I think you'll find that she disappears to being a background figure, maybe a script doctor of some kind. I think that will be her last major movie role.
I mean, I know she had a bunch of stuff lined up, but like, yeah, she was. I mean, honestly, did you ever see that?
No. I might watch it over Christmas.
I don't know. Like, okay, there was a guy who's just started his a podcast. Well, he sent me the link to his channel. Who he's like he was chatting with me, and I so he said, oh yeah, look, they got all of Doctor Who Flux for like $3 or something, right? So I said, oh, you should totally get it and review it. Where he was like, oh, I don't know. So he did that, right? Here, let me put the link to it out.
Okay, brave guy.
It's called Review It Yourself. So so in the same way, I think you should watch you and Ian. Okay, I want to stream with you and Ian and whoever else you want. Deep dive review of Indiana Jones. And whatever it was.
Well, I know that Ian saw it at the cinema. In fact, he may have even seen it twice. I think he went to see it twice. I think one time he went with friends, with Keith and a couple of other guys, and he may have taken family members to see it as well. So I know that Ian's seen it. I probably will review it at some point, but
it's really worth it. It's really, I mean, like, it's really shockingly bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's shockingly bad. Yeah, let's zoom in these pictures, which so we can see it more clearly. So it's written by Pete McTeague, Phil Ford, and Rusty Davis. It looks like it's going to be fun, right? So this is Stephen and Vicky. So this is I think here. Okay, so that's Eccleston's TARDIS, a bit of that. A jukebox. What was that from?
Well, can we say the jukebox is apparently in the 15th Doctor's TARDIS? I don't know.
I did not know that.
So that could be where that comes from.
Okay. Yeah, I get it's less convincing than the junk TARDIS they had in The Doctor's Wife. But again, it looks fun.
Yes, like I say, it looks like a set, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, okay. You know what it reminds me of? The Doctor Who Years tape from the 90s. Remember the thing that Whittaker put together? No, I'm not just zooming in on tits, but quite frankly, they're fantastic. So yeah,
yes, Nicola Bryant may be edging up there towards claiming her bus pass, but still very, very good-looking woman.
Still shaggable, and I mean that with all respect, right? Listen, if I could tell, somebody I think who is a senior citizen that I would like to come on her tits in a respectful way, it would be Nicola Bryant.
I think she'd be touched by that sentiment, mate. I honestly do.
I think it does look like Colin Baker saying, "I would like to come on your tits." There, Colin, I can't help but agree. Right, I can't help but agree. Matt Smith had the typewriter. Okay, is this a reference? This speaker to Peter Cushing?
I'm looking at it and trying to bluff my way and realize. It might be.
Right, it does all look. It all looks a bit Peter Cushing. That looks like what's the name, Mr. Smith.
Looks on that.
No, that's
star.
the console under there. Sorry.
It's like an anus.
It's a fist of the console doing an anus, right? And why not? Why not? This is the nicest one. It really, I mean, like this is really lovely. Right? I think this really says the truth of these two characters, how they interact with each other. Right?
So how did you feel when you first saw these pictures, mate?
Astounded, frankly. I was like, really?
Did it remind you, tap into your childhood more than anything it did in The Power of the Doctor, for example?
Yeah. So no, this looks all fun. But again, I was somebody told me about this, but they told me it would be something different, and I'm not sure. Oh, here, let me see if I can find the thing I was originally sent. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah. There you go. Let me share that screen. So this is the thing that somebody it was at the time it was like under wraps, but it was like before it was just before the announcement. I think there you go, doink. So is this fake or is this real? So this is just Earthshock, and there's one here for Vengeance on Varos.
Oh yes, they've got 90 minutes there. I mean,
Right.
that could be a vague, I suppose, time, but more than a precise time. Actually, no, they do tend to be pretty precise on the iPlayer, don't they?
It's not that far off. And this is they don't get the time for Earthshock. Right. Doctor and Tegan meet again and remember their terrifying adventures against the Cybermen to save the Earth and the friend they lost along the way. So again, is it once or each? Now, if this is fake, this is very impressive because they're wearing the same costume as they're wearing in the picture.
Yeah, it's not a fake. That's new photography. We are yet to see. I suspect.
Right. So they're wearing the same clothes. So maybe this is real. This looks like it's probably real. Doctor and Mary meet again and remember their conflict on the mining planet Varos. I guess this would need new special effects, right?
And that's clocking in at 1:30 as well.
Right.
1 hour 30. Yeah, so they probably truncated versions, I would say. But
right. I would agree with you. Do I have any more?
It's interesting that they're using the original Russell T Davies era TARDIS on the main artwork to promote that. I mean, I know this was all put together quickly, but I think that they use the current TARDIS, wouldn't you? Or classic TARDIS.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it matters.
No, but designers, we look at that kind of stuff.
Right. Wait, isn't that the current TARDIS? That is the current TARDIS. It's just the wrong angle.
No, that's the Chris Eccleston. That's a publicity picture that they use. Yeah, that's the same publicity picture. That's the same publicity picture they were using back in 2005. You can tell because the current one, the Jodie Plus one, it's not got the white panel. The panel is black with the.
You're right. Yeah, that's correct. Anyway, so Time Meddler for the first Doctor. Again, these are great stories to pick. I'm really intrigued how they're going to be woven together. Right? I mean, if this is what it is, right? Mind Robber, that's interesting. That's an interesting pick as well. Why would we go for mine? I would go for so many stories over that. Invasion, maybe.
I would say that these were chosen for their brevity, shall we say.
I agree. Evasion is a bit too. They fill up their. They do fill up their 8 episodes very well. I do like Invasion. The more I think about it, that's one of my favorite Second Doctor stories. And I like Seeds of Death. But I'm not sure if I like Seeds of Death because that was probably one of the first Second Doctor stories I ever saw. Right, the first one that came out.
Yes, it was the same with me. The first. I don't think it was the first video cassette I had from the classic range, but it may have been the second. I think Terror of the Zygons was the first.
Conan Archer asked, my first question would be, if it's in universe, it is in universe and it is canon, right? They will they be de-aged? No, so the de-aged doctors will find some way to account for why they have aged along with, they're going to find some way to account for it. Right, that's the same. We're going to look at that in a second. Rusty Davis has been posting on Instagram about it. 3 Doctors. Joe Grant talking about Clyde about the 3 Doctors. So I think sounds very exciting.
It does. It does indeed. I mean, the Doctor Who. There are more ways to get old Doctor Who onto your screen, into your life now than there have been probably ever.
This is designed to bring new people in.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah, people who are scrolling through iPlayer, people who just remember something from when they were a kid. Even it's that kind of thing. That's what it'll tap into.
Anyway, so again, and it's funny they didn't build this up more. So fine. So Rusty Davis wrote. Oh, let me just. Tomorrow on BBC iPlayer, Tales of the TARDIS. Many years ago, Jamie and Zoe had their memory wiped by the Time Lords. Can love and friendship overcome the power of Gallifrey? Wendy Perry, Fraser Hines back on board the TARDIS for the first time in 54 years. And over here, Rusty Davis confirms. Joe Wiley. This was a week of the concert, and we had to keep it all quiet. Am I watching? No, this is not the thing I thought it was. There's another. I have another thing where he says it's all in canon, right? It's all.
I've seen. Yeah. It's I mean, we've seen a lot of. I think we've had a lot of grounds to complain. Actually, I'm not going to suddenly say that this makes everything okay. I think we've had a lot of grounds to complain over the last 10, 11 months.
Oh God,
we've barely heard a murmur from the brand. It was less than breadcrumbs.
And anything we heard was bad.
Yeah. So I think we were right to feel a bit shortchanged, and in some ways, as great as all this is, it does feel a bit like we could have done with some of this over the summer. Maybe it would have been nice to have a slow, gradual build, but I won't be churlish about it. We've got an anniversary. It is happening, as I say. That we're fortunate we've got one at all with a brand that was pretty much flatlined. We are, and. When it comes to, it's 2 years today since the Flux season started screening with the Halloween.
Right,
apocalypse.
I remember that was Halloween.
It's difficult to imagine that was 2 years ago, isn't it?
Boy. Man, Ken, it was nearly good. I don't know why he didn't just bring in a real writer. It's beyond me, right? I mean, John Layton would have thrown those plot elements at him and said, "Right, do this, this, and this." Right, and a real writer normally would put it together, right? I mean, and then you have writers that do like City of Death and not City of Death, Arc of Infinity, right? And I just
Johnny Byrne,
well, they just I don't know what he even wants, and Eric Say was like, "It doesn't bloody matter." Right, yeah, that's basically how I felt it went down. By the way, I just finished watching Enlightenment. I'm nearly ready to do my review of it.
Which one did? Enlightenment? When was the last time I saw Enlightenment? About 2 years ago. I did an entire watch through of the Peter Davison era.
It is Enlightenment is perfect Doctor Who.
I agree.
It just nails everything 100%. Right?
Have you watched the original or the one with the new effects?
I went between the two because the new effects are now aged so much they don't look. The original looks better.
I look at the new effects and I'm curious about them, but after a while, I always end up going back to the original.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I like the cut of the like the movie length cut of the new version. I don't think it needs new effects, but man, it's much like most of season 20. It's really solid science fiction ideas, like really interesting, solid science fiction ideas. Just about all of them are worth examining. I love the whole they're on the yacht, the whole like the Eternals. Everything about it works. Like literally everything about it works 100%.
I mean, you could say that this was a sort of an initiative that Christopher Bidmead drew up when they took over season 18, when Ian J&T took over then. But season 18 was quite dry and really not heavy sci-fi, but probably a little too heavy. With season 19, I think that was probably the sweet spot. But there's still a lot in season 20 along those lines that really, really works, that holds together properly story-wise, and has these fantastic ideas that are challenging for a child.
In season 20, it's only was it Arc of Infinity that really it collapses, but then you got
that's the only sort of runaround that hasn't got anything under the surface.
Right, but everything else does. Like, what's the second story? Is it Mordred Undead?
Snake Dance.
Snake Dance. I mean, like, how much more on the surface? Snake Dance, Mordred Undead, Terminus. Far better than I remember. Right? If only I could like
Mordred Undead too.
Over it.
Mordred Undead has there's a lot in there as well, mostly in episodes 3 and 4, but there's a lot of texture to that as well, a lot of food for thought in that. It's not a stupid piece of fluff.
All of this is serious science fiction, right? All of this is serious science fiction. Unlike what we're talking about tonight, which will be your what time are you on? Are you on at
we are
8?
On at 8. Yeah, that's why with the witching hour or two. Oh, excuse me, one moment, mate. Sorry about this.
No problem. It's a good segue. Fine. So we're not going to do a deep dive, right? But this does segue into what why is this not coming? Hang on, it's because I've got the wrong thing up. This does segue.
Sorry about that.
Well, I'll tell you what. How much time do you have before you have to leave?
I've got about 10 minutes.
Perfect. Right. So on my last stream, right, I went through all of Doctor Who and came up with my top 10 list in order, right, of the best horror Halloween Doctor Who. So in the number 10 spot, we have Inferno, right? Inferno. I just feel this is classic in era horror. Like this feels like a great 1960s, 1970s horror movie, like a little bit science fiction, but much more horror. Like the Primals, I love this. What's your feeling of this?
Spectacular, epic, riveting story.
Right.
It's close to masterpiece. This is
right. It's it's the first time that like people really explored a multiverse. In British TV. Anyway, that was number 10. Number 9, God Complex. Freaking love this. So many great horror tropes are in the God Complex, and it's all like this weird psychological horror where you're looking at yourself with terror, right?
I liked this at the time, but I haven't gone back and rewatched this. I think I watched it like 2 or 3 times the week it was on. I don't think I've watched it since the week or out of transmission.
It's really okay. This is like you if you have time tonight, great for Halloween, right? And less than an hour long. Right?
Fabulous.
So that's number 9. Number 8, Mind of Evil. Again, great internal psychological horror, plus a very hot Chinese chick. Who was it? Barry Letz's. Who was it? Somebody's wife. I can't remember who.
I know that there is a story there, yeah, but I can't remember what it. You've got some really interesting choices here. I would never have thought of this, and I've only ever seen this a couple of times because I'm not really a Pertwee guy.
This story. This is freaking primo Doctor Who. But again, it's all about internal horror, all internal self-moving, which is what I think the key to great horror is.
That's the thing with Inferno, isn't it? It's chilling in a way that they was called the Troughton era, the monster era. but Inferno chills you in a way that none of that stuff.
Right. Well,
could.
that was Pertwee,'s great line about it's more frightening finding a Yeti sitting on the loo in Tootenbeck. He very much wanted to bring it to reality, which they did, and it's very contemporary as well. His era was just sci-fi horror all the way through. Now of course, that what episode? It's 10, 9, 8. Number 7. Perfect horror tropes revisited in The Curse of Sutek.
Oh God, this story, yeah. My earliest Doctor Who memories of this story. One of my earliest memories of anything in life at all. I was 2 years old.
Yes. There's a lot to remember in this, right? There's a lot that's so dark in this. There's like the teeny little things which are great, like when who was the guy who was in black at first who put his hands on the guy to kill him and smoke came out.
Yeah.
Gabriel Wolf doing the voice. This was just Robert Holmes and what's the name? Not Barry. Let's what's the name of the producer?
Philip Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe. Really enjoying themselves doing fun pastiche, right, of what a great horror movie, a classic horror movie is. Which is also, I feel, what the next pick is. I think what was it, number 5? Number 5 is Waters of Mars, a really classic horror episode.
You're right, and this is very much, this lines up really nicely, particularly with Inferno, I think.
Yes. 6, 5. So this is number 5. Also, great monsters. And at the end, the Doctor becomes a monster. But again, all the great sci-fi horror tropes done by Doctor Who, which I think they really knew what they're doing by the time they got this one.
It's the pinnacle in respect to the the Russell T Davies era. This is probably the pinnacle of it. Superb story.
Yeah, I do agree. Talking of pinnacles of eras, Ghostlight. Ghostlight is number 4. Fantastic haunted house story. Lots of real creeps. I mean, I love all the bits with the insects coming alive and the idea of evolution and change. Sylvester McCoy absolutely at his best at the Doctor.
This is his finest hour and a quarter, however long it lasts. It's without a doubt. I've sort of fallen in and out of love with Ghostlight so many times over the last 30 years, but I can see where you put it on this list. It's very strong stylistically.
Yeah, no, this is again great spooky horror for Halloween. Remember this list for next year. Another great Halloween tale. Midnight, one of this, I think, the scariest David Tennant stories. Really worth listening to if you can do it in 5:1 sound, right? Where they have them two. It is. First, the performance is fantastic. You have the traditional, was it cruise line adrift, plot line, design adventure essentially, and then you got what's her name, Leslie Sangarada
Sharp,
possessed, and and you see how everybody else is possessed by their fear and xenophobia as well. How that takes, so you got all this different layers of different horror here. True, genuine horror, right? But if you want to get into modern sci-fi horror, the number 3 pick is Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, which goes for horror at the end when we have what's the name, the Satan at the end of it.
It's a good all-round story, isn't it? This, because there's lots of spectacle, there's lots of adrenaline, there's a psychological angle too, and it builds. It's really, really pacey. So whilst most of my favourites are a little further down on your list, that I wouldn't probably put this as high myself. I see why it's here, and I think it's a really important story.
You know what? It just channels aliens, right? Where I feel Walter's more channels alien, this channels aliens, which is a very legitimate horror trope. Number 3. The number 1 and 2 are basically joined. So number 2, which is very, very close, is Deadly Assassin. Great horror. Right? Yeah, really great horror. psychological horror. We got the desiccating master. We got the Manchurian Candidate. We got the all the psychological horror in episode 3. You know, that horrific bit where he's on an operating table and then it's his reflection. Yeah, all that is fantastic.
Some of it is absurd, isn't it? In the way that The Prisoner was precisely balanced between the absurd and the deeply sort of disturbing, and this story does that too. Did it get away with it? You have to speak to Mary Whitehouse. Had her opinions about it, didn't she?
I think it totally got away with it. I mean, listen, it produced this wonderful Andrew Skilleter piece of art. It's fantastic. So my number 1 pick has not 1, not 2, but 3 beautiful pieces of art to tell you what it is. It is, of course, the Demons. Like, how much more traditionally horror can you get, right? So this is this was, I can't remember the name of the artist.
I saw this one as well. I think it could be Lee Johnson. This one
could be. It's
a fantastic piece.
And this one is also by Oscar
Oliver Arkenstall Jones. Yeah, this is my favourite. It's beautiful, just beautiful.
This one really brings it out, and this one I love from an alternate universe where Edward Wood was the Doctor in a movie version with Christopher Lee as the Master. But again, that it so perfectly talks about every trope of horror that you can think of. Is the perfect Doctor Who to talk about on Halloween, and I think that's something that you may appreciate from your stream.
Fabulous segue, and thanks for the plug, mate. Yeah, this is coming up at 8 o'clock on the Type 40 Doctor Who channel. A nice live stream deep dive review of the Rabbi's #1 horror Doctor Who extravaganza there. Find out what we all think of it there on the panel. So there's a few of the regulars in, along with the First Doctor himself, the Big Finish First Doctor, Stephen Noonan, his first live stream with us.
I think billing him as a Big Finish First Doctor is underplaying him. He is such an expert in Doctor Who. It's unbelievable. Like, he has sat and thought about everything. And you can totally tell, right? I love listening to Stephen Noonan talk about Doctor Who. I genuinely do. If he had a YouTube channel or a podcast, I will be regularly listening to it, right?
Well,
and sorry, carry on.
I'm happy to say that he's on Type 40 for as long as he's able to be there. I think work obviously permitting, he'll be joining us for reviews. Originally came on board to do some just for the anniversary year, but he's going to be remaining on the show for 2024. We've got some exciting plans, some fun stuff, some more scary stuff to get stuck into, but we've got lots of creative ideas and ways to tap into Stephen's vast knowledge of this subject. And also his natural raconteur quality that he's got. He's a very entertaining guy, and we make one another laugh quite a lot. So I'm really happy to have Stephen on the show whenever he's able to make it.
Yeah, so good, and I'm fascinated to hear his take on the Demons, which again,
Me too.
I feel it's such a even though it's an atypical Pertwee story. It's such a seminal Pertwee story. It really is.
Isn't it?
I think by having like Benton and Yates out of uniform, it makes it even more normal. Like it's much more, like you're so comfortable with the unit gang, with the unit family, that you get to see them like out of their normal setting, right?
And it makes them feel. It makes them feel as well. You're quite right. It makes them feel more vulnerable when you see them like that too.
Right. And I think probably the best master story forever. they all live up to this one. Like, he is so good with his what's his weird hoarded he points to the
so won't it be?
Like, what does it mean? Like, really, you don't want to just wink? No, it's like he's like. The character is so much enjoying being bad. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and I get the impression that Roger Delgado relished every single line of it as well, which obviously that probably helps a lot when you're enjoying what you're doing. he and John Pertwee egging one another on. It does seem that they had a very, very close working relationship and had a similar way of looking at the material as well, which I suppose is why you get lightning in a bottle with stories like this. And we've got several people on later on, some people who've only found it in the last few years. And obviously Stephen, who was a fan during the Pertwee era. Myself, as somebody who I've never been a big fan of the Pertwee era, it's something I've taken a long time to sort of get under the skin of. So I'll be giving you my thoughts as well.
It's a very foreign world. Right? Hey, it's something I was just thinking about earlier. Like my last stream, I was talking about the Boney M song by the Rivers of Babylon.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Essentially, like this. By the Rivers of Babylon is a song that the Jews sang as they were being exiled from Israel in the first exile, last 80 years. And they sat by the Rivers of Babylon, by the Rivers of Babylon, right? And they sat down and prayed there, right? So the Boney M song I love, right? I absolutely adore it. And I compared that to, not sure you, the woman from Big Bang Theory, who's a very liberal Jew, who's like, the world has just been destroyed by finding out that liberals don't have your back, right? And
this is the little blonde with the top heavy
girl.
No,
it's the other one. It's the other one. It's Sheldon's girlfriend.
Oh, Mariam. Yeah. She is a bit.
So it's about 3-4 minute video. It's worth watching. So I said basically her tone of that was the same tone of By the Rivers of Babylon, right? So the interesting thing is this: By the Rivers of Babylon is a very Jewish experience. And it's expressed by a very black experience, right? Because it's very like African, right? Got that black feeling for it,
very much
which
so,
understands that oppression that's talking about, I think, in a closer way. But the only thing I was thinking of, could you imagine being the person who wrote that song in Hebrew, right? Like somehow seeing in the future that his own work gets translated into such an incredibly foreign language, in incredibly foreign time, like incomprehensible. It's the same thing, and it is. Well, that's kind of the barrier most people have to the poetry years, because it's so like 70s, right? It's so like, whoa! I can't imagine anything ever being like that.
I was thinking about Pertwee's Doctor a few weeks ago, and how consistent he was, and I think that some doctors found their character quicker than others. Pertwee, I think he took it a while for his era for everything to drop into place, but I think his character is pretty much there from the start, and all it ever does is get deeper. He never has to take a handbrake turn, for example, to drastically change his approach. His instincts were right from the very, very start, and that's why over those 5 seasons, it seems longer, and the character I think travels quite a distance with Pertwee in it. I think he's superb, and it's taken me all my life really to understand and appreciate everything that Pertwee did in the part all those years ago.
Again, it's very hard to see him as a suave James Bond figure when he looks like Austin Powers, right? So I was just thinking what you were saying about there being a jukebox in Shooter's TARDIS.
Yes.
Do you think that has something to do with the change of clothes every episode? Like somehow he picks a random song and it's like that's what he wears and picks out clothes for him or something?
I think now we've seen so many pictures and so many different costumes. I think it's likely that his playfulness with clothing is going to be part of the character. And I think it's very, very likely. Pertwee's Doctor, fun enough, was similar, but just not so extravagant, not so flamboyant, and
like Shooty got a lot of shit when he said, Pertwee was he good, a bitch, or what was it he said? I can't remember.
Shooty, he could have chosen his words better. It was
I think he was just expressing himself. That never bothered me.
No, I mean when you see the words in black and white on paper like that, it does read in a certain way. It reads, but he meant it. He didn't mean it as some sort of slight on Pertwee at all. It was a very modern way of expressing something, which isn't. He's not wrong. The point that he was trying to make, it isn't wrong. He hasn't got that wrong. But I just think that the way that he expressed it was yeah, incendiary to a great deal of people, I mean, including me. I thought, we said what? But you go back and you read the context, you think, okay, well, I definitely wouldn't have framed it like that, but at least now I see what he's getting at. And I in fact, everything I've ever read from the actor himself, when he has been interviewed, 2 interviews in particular. One for it was the Pride issue of Vogue, I think. Yeah, he did call him. Yeah, he gave one to Vogue, and then another one later in the year. And they're great interviews. And in my view, he demonstrates. He seems to have a real clear idea on who the Doctor is. That he's bang on target. So whether that will make it through the production process, who knows?
We'll find out. It's all be over by Christmas, mate. We'll find out soon.
We will, and I will. Yeah. I'm waiting with bated breath, just like everybody else. Yes,
because I have to wrap up as well. I just want to get your reaction on this one story, and then I'm heading off as well. Check this out. I hope this is true. Rumor: nuclear bomb full of emails and notes detailing Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm Story Group's disgusting behavior to be released. I can imagine that might be real. Oh.
I think it's obviously it's possible, isn't it, that these things get hacked, and it has to be an unhappy working environment. This is what I say quite a lot. If it's an unhappy working environment, a lot of people have been shown the door. Then it only takes one person.
I think
it only takes one person to decide to leak this stuff because they think, right, I'll show them. I'm going to blow the lid off this. It's probably likely.
Maybe South Park was too much for them. Did you hear about South Park or see it?
I've got it to watch. I've been sent it.
Expressly says exactly what we've been saying, and just like says it as it's a fact. It's crazy how much it destroys Kathleen Kennedy. So that might be it. Fine. With that, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna get ready for 8 o'clock today. Hopefully we'll be around.
Thanks for having me on, Rabbi, and thanks everybody for listening. I hope to see some of you at 8 o'clock on the Type 40 channel. But that's it for this one, guys. Yeah, I'll catch you later, mate.
Doodle pip.
Bye-bye.
Fine. I'm gonna hit the end broadcast button.